other two to have done that. Matter of fact, Mr. Floro really was talking to me earlier and said if San Miguel wins, I would like to welcome them to the Grand Slam club.
That's very gracious on the part of Mr. Danny Floro. So, we now have two teams in that elite club known as the Grand Slammers.
You know, Hector has 16 points, 12 of them here in the fourth quarter alone, as he came up with very crucial baskets to really break the ball game apart. Huh?
And he came up with those baskets just as Ines Watley exited from the ball game, which makes the beat even more phenomenal. 119 to 107. The only issue left unsettled here is the final winning advantage of San Miguel Beer. Who would have thought that this would be such a lopsided series, Dr. J? After all, Añejo Rum had beaten San Miguel Beer so many times in the elimination and semifinal stages.
You know, that's very true, Joe. As Samboy goes to the 15-foot line on that 6th foul of Gonzalo. You know, Joe, counting the 8 games that they had played before this, actually the score was 4-all. Añejo taking the first 3, then San Miguel winning 1. So it's 4-all right now, and with this victory, San Miguel would really prove that it's the best, 5-4.
Well, with 45 seconds left, the San Miguel Beer fans are preparing to unfurl their victory streamers. And in a very short while, we should see some balloons floating down the ultra hardcore. Those balloons have been kept hidden in the overhead beams at the ceiling here at the ultra since this morning. Briggs turns in another 2 points, but it's all academic now. 121 to 109.
Like you say, Joe, it's all over but the shouting.
It's all over but the shouting, and there'll be plenty of it as soon as the final horn sounds. I think we're having audio problems. Well, we're having some audio problems right now, Dr. J, but we should be able to straighten out in no time at all. In the meantime, you can watch the action anyway. That was Briggs. Did he foul out?
Yes, he fouled out. That's the reason why he's going over to congratulate everybody.
A very sporting gesture on the part of Carlos Briggs, going over to the bench of San Miguel, giving Norman Flock and all the beer men on the San Miguel bench a congratulatory high and low five.
It's giving credit where it is due, Joe. That team has played well. It's Briggs. What does he have in his mouth?
He has a wad of cotton in his mouth. He probably sustained a lip cut.
Just like a woman.
Yes, indeed. Ray Cuenco and Hector Calma. Christmas gift ko na sa iyo yan.
Hector even almost swiped the ball away from him. Yeah. If he had dribbled that thing, he put that ball down, Hector would have taken away from him.
Only 10 seconds away from the eruption of celebration and jubilation among the San Miguel Beer fans.
And it's counting right now, Joe. It's counting.
Juan Fernandez throws up the ball into the air as the victory streamers are unfurled. The balloons come down, and there is a big smile on the faces of the San Miguel Beer fans, numbering about 5,000 here at the Ultra.
Magandang
Lim trying to help out. Lim is all over. But the foul is on Ituri. He bodied up on Wise. That'll be the 5th against Ituri. Now we see a platoon that's going to go against Wise, because Dennis Steele is sitting down with 4. So it is Ituri. Now we have Jerry Cordinera coming off the bench.
Well, Coach Ron Jacobs has a lot of players who could give fouls. Bingo, he has a very deep bench, and so far, since they went into the penalty, they're telling Fran Wise, okay, you can make them from the foul line, but you're not going to make them from the field.
Earn it from the line. 87-68 NCC. Time is 2 and 10 seconds. We're in the 3rd. Jeffrey Moore almost had it. Down on the floor is the big man. Jeff Moore takes it away from him. Wise lost his balance. And the crowd enjoyed that bit of action. Calma gets away.
Yeah, good screen by Jeffrey. The NCC team, they're playing well.
Juan Cruz has got 9 points, being jammed by Lim and Calma.
He's playing well here tonight, but you can see some of the NCC players are a little winded at this point. Just a little tired.
Hector Karma averaging 10 points per game. He's got 14 as he sits. A minute and a half, third quarter.
Still a lot of time for Manila Beer to come back, but they're going to have to start shutting down the NCC team. Jeffrey Moore with an almost incredible shot.
Magic time. Jeffrey Moore has pumped in 38 points. Villamin tried to power inside, but Lim was there together with Cordinera.
So a lot of fouls committed by NCC tonight because of aggressive defense.
On the other hand, for Manila Beer, Kidabin has got 4, just about the only one with 4. Here's Pomaran. He can shoot 2. Changes his mind, looking for the hot man, who responds. Very steady.
Yes, he has he's evened his career high of 40 points.
Here's Weiss at the wings, lost control. NCC on top by 22. Could be 24.
30 seconds left in the third quarter. I'm sure Coach Ocampo will have a lot to talk about in between quarters. Samboy Lim with the block. Jeffrey Moore with the save.
Here's Pomaran going to Dignalice. It's a tear. It's a breakaway by Northern Consolidated.
And Coach Andy Howell is very upset on the sidelines.
Time is 4 seconds before the end of the third quarter. Edo Campo preparing La Lota. Pomaran was trying to beat the horn, so it's 97-71 at the end of the third for NCC. We will be back.
To have better communications on defense because players are just coming wide open right underneath the basket.
Atoyko takes it from 21. Here's Dennis Steele. He's back in the ball game. He's playing with 4 personal fouls. He joins Jeff Moore, Pomaran, Alan Kaidik, and Dignadice.
Once again, offensive rebound for Dignadice.
Well, NCC, they have found themselves over the limit in the last 2 quarters. Manila Beer has been over the limit in all of the 3 quarters.
Oh, Fran Wise that time with a nice dunk, but it won't count. Jeffrey Moore picks up his second personal foul.
Jeffrey Moore so far 45 points. Also 21 big rebounds on the part of Dennis Steele. 10 points and 10 rebounds. Big night for Jeff Moore. Atoyko stops on a dime.
Well, I guess if you look at the game, Pingo, you can say the fact that Northern has been running the fast break well. They have 28 points on fast breaks compared to only 11 for Manila Beer. And the fact that Northern has only committed in this game 9 turnovers. That's a pretty good number. Manila Beer has committed 14.
Jeffrey Moore gets away. Now, when you prepare for game number 2 Sunday and you're coming out of a situation such as this in game number 1, what should Manila Beer be considering?
Well, first of all, everybody's going to have to concentrate on getting back on defense because, let's face it, this NCC team is going to control the boards against almost every team they play. So you really have to have somebody back on defense. In addition to that, they're going to have to put the clamps on Jeffrey Moore. He's been running wild out here tonight.
Now, how are you doing that when you were playing against them, when you were still there in the floor under Magnolia Clinch Plus?
The first thing Coach Ocampo has to realize is, Pingo, it's mostly defensive. I make sure that I box Dennis off and we control our defensive boards and limit them to 1 shot at the basket. That's the most important thing.
A little bit short from Pomaran. He saves it. Dennis still at the corner now. Time is under 7 minutes.
Yes, a three-point shot.
He's all over the court, and he's been scoring from all parts of this mahogany. Now a rainbow hit. He's got big 50 points.
Well, that's a career high for Jeffrey, and I'm sure he's going to be very happy about today's game. Good dunk shot by Dennis Steele. And I still say that Manila Beer at this point, Pingoy, should try to put a stop to all this, because this is just building up the confidence of the Northern team. And it's going to be harder for Manila Beer to come back from a loss like this.
By the way, tonight on PBA Flashback Norman, we will go back to 1984 as we review all the events that occurred in that particular season.
Jeffrey Moore again.
2 rainbow hits in a row. Timeout right after the best player interview, and brought to you by Añejo Rum. 119-81 NCC. And they continue to pour. Well, Harencio is a new player, new face for NCC. Jeff Moore gets a big, big hand from the fans here in Ultra. He deserves.
Yes, he deserves
it. (139-102) NCC nailing.
A 9-point lead for NCC. Yoyo Villamid misses on a 15-footer, and the Jolly Green Giant, as usual, pulls down a rebound for NCC. A quick look at the rosters. Jeffrey Moore working along with Dennis Steele. Samboy Lim misses a looper. And the rest of the gang for Northern Consolidated are Ibis Dignatisi and Hector Calma, the quarterback. And here's the quarterback for Manila Beer, Mendoza. Team Coloso quickly to Fran Weiss, playing outside against Dennis Steele. Cross court to Ed Cordero. He snaps off another 15-footer, and it looks like his shooting hand has gone slightly cold during that halftime recess.
Well, he shot that one quickly. Maybe he should have took his time.
Yes, he was perfectly open.
It would be good if Manila Beer could get off to a good start here in the second half. They're only down by 9 points right at this point.
Jeffrey Moore laboring his way through and making it off another turnaround.
And there's nothing more that B. Lemin can do. He played perfect defense that time, but Jeffrey still made the shot.
That guy is just unstoppable. He's already got 20 points to his credit, plus 11 rebounds. And we're 1 minute and 20 seconds into the third quarter. Turn around by Fran Weiss. Too much muscle behind it, right to the hands of Ibis Dignatisi. And here's Hec Calma. Bangs into Eddie Boy Mendoza. Gonna let go situation out here. Hec Calma goes to Ibis Dignatisi. Half-court offense being displayed by NCC. Dennis Steele going past Team Coloso. The baseline drive, and again, Houdini-like, he escaped an entire phalanx of defenders.
Well, that extra dribble got him on the baseline and got him an easy 2.
And they're back with a 13-point lead, 64-51. That was a quick 4-point burst by the NCCs right in this third period. Manila Beer still has to score. Yoyo Villamin is going to be relieved by Abed Gidabin, and coming in for Ed Cordero is Gary Vargas, who will be seeing action absolutely for the first time tonight.
And that's because Cordero had been playing so well. Coloso tries a 3-pointer, he misses.
Still a 13-point lead for NCC. Alley-oop! That alley-oop had a capital A to it, as usual, anchored on the Jolly Green Giant.
Yes, Dennis was apologizing to Hector because he didn't dunk it that time.
Fran Weiss is having a hard time buying his baskets. 66-51, another fast break. And unless Manila Beer can get its act together, there's the threat looming in the horizon of another man-sized slaughter.
Well, if Manila Beer doesn't score this time and NCC scores again, maybe Coach Ocampo might take a quick timeout here in the third quarter.
Right. In the meantime, they have to labor under a 17-point handicap now. They're settling down to a half-court offense. Oh, Gidabin just got a bump in the eye.
It was an obvious foul that time. It was not called.
Here's Fran Weiss. The shot is counted. 1985 has indeed been an eventful year, not only for the PBA, but for Philippine sports in general. And Andy Player Special is only too glad to have been a part of the sports landscape through its substantial support as a foremost patron and sponsor. Furthermore, the makers of Andy Player Special Whiskey intend to continue such support in the coming years as its way of thanking the Filipino people who have installed Andy Player as an indispensable feature of the Filipino way of gracious living. And there goes another basket. Credit that to Samboy Lim.
Boy, I think Samboy could be a gymnast.
Oh, my
the way
goodness.
he hangs in the air.
A levitation act. 70-54, 16-point deficit for Manila Beer. Abid Gidabin misses on a reverse layup. Somewhat intimidated there by the presence of Denny Still. And here's Jeffrey Moore. Jeffrey increases speed.
Little stop and go, a hesitation move, gets him to 2 points.
And the Manila Beer men are sinking deeper and deeper into the quagmire. They're down by 18 now, and Gotti Vargas comes up with a very timely basket from 15. 7:44 left, third quarter. Here's Jeffrey, the snapshot. Kind of hard to get back or mount a rally if you've got the opposition constantly hitting back at you.
Well, you've got to get back on defense. The NCC team, they're pushing the ball up the court quickly. That means Manila Beer has to hustle back. That's 5 men, Joe, that has to hustle back, not just 2 or 3.
Exactly. A foul is called on the Jolly Green Giant. That is his third personal. Well, the NCC juggernaut got going as early as the very start of the third quarter. And at this point, Manila Beer really needs to dredge every ounce of willpower at the bottom of its barrel to come up with another rally. 74-56.
NCC is only limiting Manila Beer to 1 shot at the basket.
Another example of great ball movement here by NCC. Samboy Lim. Hang time for him again. Jeffrey Moore with the offensive rebound, and he won't be denied. Well, as usual, we shall have our best player of the game right after this match, who will be given 1 case of White Shield, the official rubbing alcohol of the PBA. And the way things are going, that might very well be the last case of White Shield we'll be giving out this season. Here's Fran Wise against the deadly duo, and he makes mincemeat of both of them. A bright glimmer of hope there for Manila Beer.
Well, technically, that should have been a 10-second violation, because when Fran caught the ball, it was only 14 seconds left, but they did not call it that time.
In the meantime, let's watch Samboy Lim. He's been stealing the thunder from a lot of his more illustrious teammates, but Jeffrey Moore keeps getting right back into the act. That's his 29th marker, plus 13 rebounds. 79-58, 6 minutes and 12 remaining, third quarter. Atoico with a 3-point shot. You remember how in the past game it was when Manila Beer started going for those desperate 3-point shots that did them in.
Well, Hector's going to go all the way for the 2. He made the steal, he scores the 2.
Hector Calma makes the 2, and a big grin forms on the lovely face of Christine Jacob. 81-58 is the count. Fran Wise, oh, they practically left him unmolested. 81-60, hardly a dent on the very commanding spread being enjoyed by the amateurs right now. Great save by Jeffrey Moore. And are they happy with each other? They make a great partnership.
Boy, what a save. Dennis Steele was in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. 83-60 is the count. 23-point lead for NCC. That was a 3-point shot by Gary Vargas. Only his 5th marker tonight. Ives Dignadice coming down with the offensive rebound and putting up another 2 points for NCC. Has 85-63.
It's really becoming a wide open game, too.
If Atoico continues missing with those 3-point shots, it definitely will be. And Gidabin, too, is missing from practically point-blank range. It's showtime once again for the Jolly Green Giant, and he continues to run berserk with those alley-oops and dunks. 87-63. And the Northerners.
Well, Coach Ocampo has already called this timeout, so he's going to have to wait this one out.
And I have a feeling Ron Jacobs is not about to call his timeout. 87-63, 24-point lead for NCC. Looking for history tonight. Ron Wise, he got fouled on the way up by Denny Still.
Now, they didn't call a foul that time. It's going to be Manila Beer's ball. But you're probably right, though.
Yoyo Villamin bangs it in from underneath. It's 87-65. By the way, right after the match comes our Andy Player Winners Profile, which will focus on Alan Kaidik of the amateur pool. Very interesting personality, this young man. Rifleman Chip England. Okay.
Well, Villamin's having a tough time with Jeffrey Moore. Jeff seems to be in 3rd gear right now. He's really running the floor well.
Well, if he's got a 4th gear, he's on it too. All right, here is Samboy Lim. Oh, this time it didn't work. Stoico, another squandered opportunity for Manila Beer, and their woes are piling up. The specter in the horizon of a big shutout looms large and real now for the Manila Beer men with only 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and they're down by 22 points. Jeffrey Moore. Joey Villamin doing a good defensive job. Not enough to prevent Jeffrey from coming up with another bucket. 31 points now for the Big J of NCC.
Well, Jeffrey has been the main man for NCC in this series, along with Dennis and Kayadik and Lim and Kama.
Oh, let's not forget, of course, the heroic role played by Hector Calma, and Coloso comes up with a very puny shot from the corner. Here's Calma. He pulls up. The guy just can't seem to do anything wrong.
Well, the team cannot seem to do anything wrong.
91-65.
26-point lead.
This game is developing into another carnage. If you want to be Frenchy about it, of course, carnage is probably the more appropriate pronunciation. There is another defensive rebound by Dennis Steele. Calma waits for Jeffrey Moore. Jeffrey goes to Samboy. He gets it back to Jeffrey. And they're practically toying around with the Manila Beer men at this juncture.
Well, Coach Ocampo's waiting for a dead ball situation so he can get a timeout. Because they definitely need a timeout at this point.
2:44 remaining. Dr. Andrew J. Howe, team manager of Manila Beer, looks very grim. He has a tan. He played golf this morning, I imagine. 93-67, a three-team fall for NCC against only two from Manila Beer. Here's Hector Calma, and they continue to pour it on mercilessly, ruthlessly. Their overskill instincts are at their peak level tonight.
And I think they probably are shooting around 70% for this quarter, Joe.
This has been always the lethal quarter for Manila Beer, and there's Fran Weiss coming up with a stuff shot. 95-69. And before long, the NCCs will be hitting the century mark. Backdoor play, blew up right in their faces. Running interference is Ed Cortero. Team Coloso bringing it downtown, goes all the way, and that's going to be goaltending. Figure almost forced my eyes out. That's fantastic shooting in any league, in any language.
Yes, you can see it happening. They shot just great.
Right now, they've already gone over the century mark, 101-71. That's a 30-point lead. Cruz from top of the key. He connects.
Well, this NCC team, if they can continue this way, it looks like they have a one game, Joe. That means they would have won 2 championships this year. One in Taipei in the Jones Cup and the PBA championship.
And before the year is over, I imagine they will have another one in the Southeast Asian Games.
Yes,
the way they're playing right now, I think they can take on all the teams all at the same time in one floor on the same night and still murder them.
Yes, it might come out to be a very good year for Coach Ron Jacobs, a super year for Coach Ron Jacobs.
It has been that indeed. And Jeffrey Moore is going to be called for that foul against a barreling Fran Weiss. All right, quite honestly speaking, Mr. Black, what is your opinion about Manila Beer's chances of coming out of this one smiling?
I would hate to tell the televiewers to turn the TV set off, Joe, but it's going to be very difficult, especially if Hector makes this shot.
Well, as far as the NCC fans are concerned, the game is over because they're already waving their victory streamers.
Yes.
10-23 to go, 105-73. That's a 32-point deficit staring down the phases of the Manila Beer men, and Samboy Lim
well,
looks winded.
10 minutes and 20 seconds. It's going to be difficult for them to come back, but at least they can try to make it look respectable.
That's right. Well, there's no question about it. The victory here is imminent for NCC, and the fans here know it only too well. But then, Ed Cordero gets back his rifle hand.
Yes, he's had a very good game here tonight.
23 points. 10 minutes and 9 seconds to go, 105-75. A brilliant steal pulled up by Moncruz, and look at him trying to beat the sound barrier as he goes past Hec Calma. And Fran Weiss doing a great trail job, and that's a quick 4-point burst by Manila Beer, but that's still an imposing 28-point deficit staring them in the face. Jeffrey Moore against Yoyo Villamin. Fran Weiss trying to box out Dennis Still. Well, anybody else does that, it would be an exercise in futility. But then Fran Wise is just as big, vertically or horizontally anyway. Unproductive thrust by NCC. Here's Big Fran. Won't go. Dennis still uncontested in the rebound.
Yes, he can't really get the outside shot going, and that's pretty much the only way you're going to score on Dennis is to hit that outside shot.
Well, by the way, don't go away after this because we'll be having some surprises for you. And this is, of course, premised on the imminent victory of NCC. After our dugout interview, we shall have a special issue of Flashback to focus on the 1985 season, winner's profile of Alan Kaidig, and the late telecast of game number 4 between Ginebra San Miguel and Great Taste. All these in one big package, which should keep you up practically up to the wee hours of the morning. Jeffrey Moore with a turnaround fadeaway.
But we've seen a lot of records broken here in this third conference, Joe, and as you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, if NCC wins tonight, it'll be the first time there was a 4-0 sweep in the best-of-7 series.
There have been precedents to a 3-0 sweep, and Manila Beer was the victim of that last year. But in a best-of-7, it will be the first time that a complete shutout will have been seen in the PBA. 8:17 to go. That's only that much time left before NCC confirms its supremacy in the Pro League. But then let's not knock the PBA teams. They were actually the ones who gave these amateurs their baptism of fire. They couldn't have gotten that kind or that level of competition anywhere else in this country except in the PBA.
Well, Samboy Lim gets the rest, and Elmer Reyes comes in.
Will probably get them just in the right shape to take on just about any opposition in the Southeast Asian Games.
I think they'll get a lot of rest not having to play games in the PBA, but I'm sure they're going to be practicing very soon, maybe on Monday.
Yves Dignadice, well, knowing Ron Jacobs, I'm sure you're speaking gospel truth, Mr. Blanc.
Yes, because he's already asked me to join their practices so that they can really come up with some semblance of a team that China might have with tall men. And of course, I will be going up against Dennis and Jeff in practice.
Oh, that'll do you some good too, I suppose.
Oh, definitely. I'm starting to get out of shape, Joe.
No, you never are out of shape, Mr. Blanc.
Not really, but I would like to start running again.
Fouled by Moncruz. And Ron Jacobs now has the luxury of fielding his second stringers on the floor amidst this festival atmosphere being generated by the excitement of the NCC fans who know they have got history right here and now.
And you can expect them to celebrate this for the next 6 minutes, too. There's still 6 minutes to go in the game.
Denny still misses with a hook shot. And look at him, totally dominating the offensive board. 5:53 to go. Perhaps it might be better if this game finished without any further interruptions so as to minimize the agony of Manila Beer.
Well, I'm sure our boss, Mr. Velez, would like a few commercials.
And Alfiel Mario adds insult to injury by coming up with a three-point shot. That's not totally unexpected, as I keep pointing out. This guy holds the record for three-point shots along with Pito Harencio in the amateurs. 121 to 85. Three-point shot by Franz Pumarin. His is a little short. And here comes Chris Gaston. Fran Wise. A gangway, says he, and not even Dennis Still could intimidate him that time.
Well, maybe Coach Jacobs will start substituting for his regulars now, like Dennis Still and Jeffrey Moore. No reason to add insult to injury, right?
Right. Here's Franz Pumarin. They're putting up a show for the NCC fans here. And look at those streamers, those placards, those banners being waved. 123 to 87. Contrary to what a lot of people might think, there is absolutely no shame to the PBA that an amateur team is winning the championship. In fact, Deputy Commissioner Tommy Manotok explained that very well in that interview he had with you and Pingoy Pengson.
Well, he said that he made everyone aware that NCC might win the championship, especially with the presence of Jeffrey Moore and Dennis Still on the court at the same time, different from the Open Conference when it was either Chip England or Moore or Chip England and Dennis Still on the court at the same time. where their team is not really as strong as it is now. He made everybody aware of that, and there should be no shame. At least we're helping this NCC team train for the international stints coming up at the end of this year and the beginning of next year.
And that is indeed an overriding consideration. In losing the crown to an amateur team, the PBA is in fact helping the cause of Philippine basketball. Of course, they're not deliberately losing the crown to NCC. They're fighting tooth and nail. It's just that it's now proving to be an exercise in futility.
And you have to figure, too, this is the second year for NCC in the league, Joe. So even though their status are amateur status, they've played so long in the PBA that they're just as good as the pro players.
In terms of experience, some of them have a lot more than those who are honest-to-goodness pros. 127 to 93. And also, another thing pointed out by Deputy Commissioner Manota, which is certainly sat very well with a lot of people, is the lesson being dished out by NCC here to the other professional clubs. They're disciplined.
3 points.
Well, if you're not disciplined, you don't really play on this NCC team. You have to be a disciplined player to be on this team, Joe.
Here's Ed Cordero. While this will be the only blemish in the record of Ed Ocampo, he has steered practically all the teams that he has coached in Championship Series to the crowns. But let that not be a disappointment for him, because he was really faced with terrible odds. 130 to 93. On the line, Fritz Gaston. He's the president of the Players Association of the Philippines and is doing a hell of a job acting as president of that organization. Pito Harencio. Looks like he's going to miss the boat on this one. Albiel Mario continues to go to town. 7 seconds to go. And ladies and gentlemen, we're just 1 second away. And yet, they're prematurely celebrating. They're already giving Ron Jacobs the victory ride with still 1 second to go. And almost forgot in the end that premature celebration was a great shot taken by Ed Cordero to top a great individual performance tonight, which saw him net 29 big points. And look at these two guys. Well, I hope this scene will be repeated in Bangkok, and more important, in Kuala Lumpur in January.
Well, that's what all the hard work has been for. That's what all the training has been for, to get these guys ready for the international competitions.